I've been waiting years to drive that. I don't know when I'm gonna actually get to drive it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is finally here, the most awaited, the most anticipated, the most debated, the most talked about, the most talked against, the most interesting, the most colorful, and hence the most important review and the most important car, one of the most important cars of the year, the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. How many years have we been waiting to drive this? I mean, how many lists of cars coming in 20 whatever has this been in? I'm finally behind the wheel. I need to pinch myself. What the actual What the hell are you doing here?
Don't leave me! Don't leave me!
Bro, that meme is like 50 years old.
Aren't you also 50 years old? That's how you know it.
What are you doing here? Why are you here, Karan? First of all, how did you find me?
See, firstly, you weren't discreet about it. All of your social media is flooded with this, I'm going for Jimny, I'm going for this. And secondly, this review needs balance. Some old, some new, some big, some small. It needs a balanced opinion. I know you keep making those gypsy references. In fact, I've already written down something on May 1st.
But listen,
I am here to look into the future.
dude, listen. This is a true blue successor of the Gypsy, right? A real successor. Because this is an evolutionary design, evolutionary car as compared to what the Gypsy was. Because we, of course, skipped the first generation Jimny. So it's only fair that I make those references, isn't it?
Listen, I know you love gypsies and I know you have one.
Rally prepped one.
Rally prepped one, whatever. But I'm from a different generation and my generation didn't really grow up with that same allure of gypsies. To me, it's a cop car, it's an army car, it's a really cool rally car, I'll give you that. But to be very honest, it doesn't have that iconic status for me like it has for you. And on any of my, dream car lists, the Gypsy is not really there if I'm very honest.
How? How?
It's just a different perspective.
Simple. I'll tell you what, you drive it first, okay? And I'll give you like 30 minutes to drive it and I'll give you 30 seconds after that to tell me what you think about the car.
Okay,
fair enough? Okay, 3, 2, 1, start.
Okay, so this is a ladder frame SUV, so it's definitely not going to handle like one of those sub 4 meter SUVs, so it's not as darty, but it's not as bad as one of those old ladder frame SUVs like the old Thar and probably your Gypsy as well. It's somewhere in the middle. There is a bit of body roll, but it does do what you want it to do. 10 more seconds. Okay, I'm going to talk about ride because the ride is fantastic. It doesn't thud through anything. Even when we did some bad roads and all, it didn't thud through anything. The ride is fantastic.
Okay, stop. I have to agree with you there because you know what? Honestly, that's bang on. Because yes, it is sort of roly-poly. Like
a little bit.
A little like Teddy Berry. But ride quality is damn good. Because
I think one of the highlights.
Yeah, definitely one of the highlights. Because first of all, big sidewalls on the tires.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're talking about wheels and tires, remember the wheels is the same PCD as a Gypsy.
Gypsy reference counter goes up again.
Yes, the ride quality is great. And I think even at the back, it's not going to be too bad. I am worried about the body roll a little bit for rear passengers. But I don't think it should be that much of a problem as such.
Yeah, I agree. Now, with all this Gypsy stuff, why do you want to live in the past, dude? Like, I mean, this is kind of retro, isn't it?
What do you mean kind? How is it kind of retro? It is retro. The only thing that's kind of retro would be somebody driving like an ambassador, like a modern ambassador, like from 8-9 years ago, like one of the last ambassadors to work. I mean, look at this. Look at it this way, right? This and say the Thar is equally retro because what they do is very simple, right? They take a retro-looking car or retro design language and they put like modern bits into it. And that's sort of okay. I think that's the way to go.
Okay, you tell me. Now, you see the screen here?
Yeah.
Now, I remember you said in your videos, what do you say the most important feature in a car is CarPlay? This has Apple CarPlay. Is that retro?
I
It's
agree,
not
I agree.
retro.
For me,
it's modern.
okay, but did you know Apple CarPlay is now 10 years old in tech terms? Dude, that's ancient. That's not even retro, it's beyond retro.
Yeah, I mean, it has retro touches, very tasteful ones, I'll give it that. But I think it also has modern ones like automatic climate control. Does your Gypsy have that? Hill descent control. Does your Gypsy have that? I mean, everything, all of this, hill descent control,
Traction control,
automatic,
screen, of
gearbox,
course.
screen, all of this. Your Gypsy has none of that. So it's retro, but with modern touches. I think it's quite nice that way.
You know, to be very, very honest, that's what I like. Because I like a car that looks old on the outside, like me, but is modern. And I like tech, I like new stuff, like I like shiny new stuff. So this is that because it's got like an older look, but inside it's like 21st century, it's like modern. Wait, dude, that means there's no like generation gap between us. We're agreeing on something.
There's not much gap between us here either, is there?
Yeah, it is a little smaller. It is definitely. It now feels in the real world a little smaller than what it felt
Two
at the Auto Expo.
Cyruses would
Probably
be very
would not
cozy.
fit.
They would be very cozy.
Arm in arm. No, genuinely, this just looks so cool.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm not fanboying here, but like,
I am.
we've been waiting for this car for so many years. Okay, listen. Let's just quickly do this and run through this without really thinking about it. The one thing that you like and dislike about this car.
Yeah, I'm
Go,
ready with
now.
mine. I'm ready with mine. Number one thing that I dislike is the tail lights. Not
What?
the
Why?
design. Not the design, but the placement. It's too
What?
low, integrated
Come
into the
on.
bumper like old Jimneys and Gypsies.
Yeah, that's the
But
point.
what that means is that when you are in a rear end collision, even a light one, you will probably need a tail light replacement instead of just a normal scratch or repair or a fix.
Solution: don't have a collision.
The thing that I like is the design of the switches on the inside. There's a row of switches with the TC off,
I
the
like
hill
that.
descent. Really well damped switches, and I really like the execution. Well done, Maruti, on that.
Okay, talking about execution, the one thing I like is this extension, right? From 3-door to 5-door, it doesn't look like an afterthought at all.
It doesn't
looks
look
like,
stretched at all.
It doesn't. It looks like this was designed right from the get-go. We know it wasn't, right? That's why the delay in coming to India. But the one thing I dislike, I mean, I have to go there. That wheel, I mean, yeah, I know that it needs chunky tires and all of that, big, but I think the wheel's just too small. This thing just looks so under-tired. And I know that helps in articulation, but nahi yaar, nahi ho raha hai.
That
Just-
1 inch really
I
matters
like
here, doesn't
that
it?
1 inch matters in a lot of places, my friend. But like, if that wheel was larger, it would have just looked so much nicer.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have a bonus here. I do like the color. I think it's very, very brave.
Why are you
now.
walking this side?
Why
are you walking this side?
उधर आना, उधर जाना. We'll go here. Go this. You drove, no, right now?
So what?
For half
You
an
don't
hour,
you want
40
to keep
minutes?
driving
I'm
this?
driving now, chal. Okay, since you did all the ride and handling bits, let me talk about the engine and the gearbox, because that's sort of what I really like. I like a car with a very, very nice engine. Okay, first and foremost, K15, tried and tested, naturally aspirated, no turbocharging, no hybrid, no strong hybrid. There is a mild hybrid on this version. And in the past, I've said that I like this engine, and I do, because it is a nice free revving engine.
Smooth as well.
Very, very smooth. And that's also great because the engine, the Gypsy, was the 1.3, first the carb, actually first the 1 litre, then the 1.3 carb, and then the 1.3 MPFI. Those were really
Gypsy
nice.
reference number
Smooth engines.
748.
Yes, I know. But there is a disappointment that I found in this car. This manual gearbox that we're driving, normally Maruti manuals are like absolutely on point, isn't it?
Beautiful.
This
beautiful.
one isn't. This one, there's something in here that feels older, that feels like there's some chocolate fondant holding it together, because it just, first of all, it has vibrations. It's not supposed to have that. Usually Maruti gearboxes don't do that anymore. I mean, older times they did, but
Yeah.
it just feels weird. Now, we've driven the automatic as well. We'll do a separate video on that because we haven't driven the automatic enough to sort of give you a proper review or proper verdict on that. I know a lot of people will be looking to buy that particular car. But for now, the manual has disappointed me just a little bit. You know what? I would have preferred the nicer gearbox or a nicer setup or something. And of course, I would have preferred the booster jet engine as well. But I mean, it's better than Gypsy, of course. Like much better.
God, how can you stop talking? How many Gypsy references are you going to make?
Look, in all fairness, the Gypsy has a legacy, right? A legacy that this is playing on. And talking about legacy, I know you guys are all looking forward to us taking this off-road. Now, sadly, we aren't going to take it off-road the way we want to and explore like some crazy location. Maruti has set out like this.
Gypsy.
There you go. Maruti has set up like this course with 6 obstacles and we have to do that. I'm told it's not super easy. It's not, as I call it, lallu. It is tough. Who's going to do the first one?
Of course, I'm going to do the first one.
No. Quick rock, paper, scissors. Come on, Karan.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, go. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Ah, God damn it. Okay.
I start. The water is deeper than I thought. I feel like I'm the weakest link in this off-roading business.
Okay, now the one thing I don't normally like doing when I drive off-road is water wading because too many cars get destroyed.
It's not a flat riverbed like I said, it is slushy.
But in this case, it is a controlled environment and I can feel the water sort of splashing up against the floorboard.
So slush, water, rocks, absolutely fine. For low, there's so much torque, it's actually rolling up the hill even without the clutch.
Don't leave the accelerator. Keep accelerating.
Keep going. Karan, come on.
Phew! That was quite scary for me, if I'm honest.
You know, the biggest advantage of these new off-roaders is that it's just so easy to do this with.
It doesn't roll back, doesn't spin its tires. 4L and automatic is like you could do this while you were sleeping,
Back in the day with the Gypsy, you would have to struggle and
while you were having a brunch, a burger,
put it in like crazy modes and
while you were completing your meeting.
modulate the throttle, get on the brakes. Tire quality was rubbish. This was literally a cakewalk.
It seems like a very small off-roader on the outside, but the capabilities, they're pretty big.
And with that, I left Karan behind to introspect. Introspect if this was truly a car that was worth all the time we waited for it. If it was as impressive as it looked, and off-road, it was. But it will need skill. It's not an idiot's tool. Or as Clarkson would call it,
Hammer.
it's going to stand apart from everything on the road. It just is. And yes, the drivetrain could have been nicer, but remember, this is a toy. And as a toy, it's directed towards the enthusiast. And enthusiasts, well, we love a flawed car because flaws make things perfect, isn't it? And for many, this will be perfect. Now all we have to do is wait for the price. And all you guys have to do is wait for all the videos we have lined up with it. Off-road versus a Gypsy versus a Thar and a lot more.